Let's take a look at this problem. We want to solve this equation. So we got 1 over 3x minus 5/9 equals 5 over 6x. This is a rational equation. What makes this a rational equation, of course, equation, you got an equals, and you're solving, and you got a variable in the denominator. That's what makes this a rational equation. Let's review our steps for solving a rational equation. And this is specifically a rational equation that leads to a linear equation. You handle it different. Let me see. Leads to a linear equation. You handle it a little bit different if it leads to a quadratic equation. Step 1. Get rid of parentheses. Step 2. Get rid of fractions. Now how we get rid of fractions is we multiply by the LCM of all the denominators. Sometimes with the more complex rational equations you have to factor your denominators first to help you figure out what the LCM is. Now at this point you solve for x. And there's two different types you'll have. You'll have either a linear equation in which case you'll go through the 4 steps for solving, or you'll have a quadratic equation. And you'll use the zero factor property, zero factor principle, zero product principle. Lots of different names. You'll see this called in books. And then step 4 is you're going to check your answer. You have to make sure it doesn't cause any denominator to equal 0. Okay, so let's go through this now. Step 1. Get rid of parentheses. Don't have any parentheses. Step 2. Get rid of fractions. Multiply by the LCM of all the denominators. Well, let's talk about the numbers first. We got 3, 9, and 6. So if I find an LCM of 3, I'll put 6 first, and then 9. So 3, 6, and 9. Our steps for that is you write prime factorization of each number down. Now 3 is already prime. 6 is 2 times 3. 9 is 3 times 3. Your LCM, you start with your first prime. You start with 2. We're looking for the greatest number of 2's on a single line. There's none here, there's 1 here, there's none here. So the greatest number of 2's is 1. Then we go to the next prime, 3. And we're looking on the right side of the equals. We're looking for the greatest number of 3's on a single line. There's 1 here, 2 here. So the greatest number of 3's on a single line is 2. Well, 3 times 3 is 9, times 2 is 18. So we're going to have 18 for the numbers. Now for the x's. Here's an x and here's an x. And same idea, but we're looking at the denominator. We're looking for the greatest number of x's in a single denominator. There's 1 here, none here, 1 here. So the greatest number of x's in a single denominator is 1. So our LCM will be 18x. And we'll multiply that times 1 over 3x minus 18x times 5 over 9 and 18x times 5 over 6x. You figure out what to multiply by what's separated by pluses, minuses, and equals. Well, these x's cancel. 3 and 18 are both divisible by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 18 divided by 3 is 6. Over here we got 9 and 18. They're both divisible by 9. 9 divided by 9 is 1. 18 divided by 9 is 2. Over here these x's cancel. 6 and 18 are both divisible by 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1. 18 divided by 6 is 3. So let me write down what I have left before I multiply it together. So I got 6 times 1, or 6, minus 2x times 5 equals 3 times 5. Sometimes my eyes get off on this, and so I always take this step to make sure I don't miss anything when I'm writing it down. Okay, 6 minus 2x times 5 is 10x, equals 3 times 5, which is 15. Okay, now at this point, we're just finished step 2. We're multiplied by the LCM of all our denominators. Step 3 was to solve for x, and this is a linear equation. So we go through our 4 steps for solving, although some of it's already done. Our first step is to get rid of parentheses. Don't have any. Second step is to get rid of fractions. We already did that. Third step is get everything with an x on one side and numbers on the other side. So I'm going to take this negative 10x and move it to the right side. And I'll take this 15 and move it to the left side. Remember, when you move anything across your equals, your sign changes. So 15 becomes a negative 15. The negative 10x becomes a positive 10x. Combine numbers at any step. 6 minus 15 gives us negative 9. And our last step for solving a linear equation is to divide both sides by the number in front of your x, which is 10. So we've got negative 9 divided by 10 equals 10x divided by 10. These 10s would cancel. And we got x is equal to negative 9/10. Now our fourth step is to check your answer. And we don't have to fully check it unless you just want to for completeness sake. You just have to make sure that this does not cause any denominator to equal 0. Well, if I put negative 9/10 in here, 3 times negative 9/10 is not 0. If I put negative 9/10 in for this x, 6 times negative 9/10 is not 0. So it checks. The answer that would have caused us problems if we'd come up with x equals 0 down here. Then if I put 0 back up here for the x, I'd have 3 times 0, which is 0. And we can't have a denominator equaling 0. So our answer is x equals negative 9/10.